Wow, good job.
Quartile range was, and that is the difference between the third and first, which is the 75th percentile and the 25th percentile. Okay, and so that is the interquartile range is the length of interval that contains the middle 50% of the debt value. So when it says, you know, what is its value and explain it, that's what you're saying. That's the middle.
Okay, well, thanks. The IQR is the length of the interval. I love cheating. I mean, sorry. That contains the middle 50%. Yippee! Of the This is the most annoying thing. The IQR is the length. Oh, you know what I. Oh my god. So we're done with this question, right?
50%. And that's the range that covers, that's how wide it's spread. All right, so that wraps up problem 38. So you can now finally save that in its final form. By the way, with regard to uploading files, if you could wait till you're done with all of them and upload them at once, that would be really helpful to me when I'm grading, but it's not the end of the world, because what happens is each time you upload a file, it puts a new date stamp on it, and I just have to go back to previous date stamps and check, okay, you turned in this one here, check. You turned in this one here, look at it, check. And then, you know, but if they're all submitted in the same time period and they're under the same date and time stamp, then I can just click from file to file to file, and my grading goes a lot faster. So again, not to put the onus on you to help my life be easier, but if you would, I would greatly appreciate it. If it's a problem, if you're in a hurry and you just got to upload as you go, totally understand, especially for people who are working on maybe a work computer at times and then migrating to home, and you get it done and you just want to get it into Canvas. I get it. I totally get it. Don't worry about it if that's what you need to do. All right, because I always end up with people with questions about, oh, how do I submit this? Just one file at a time is fine. One file at a time. Some people put them all into a zip folder and then upload the zip. That's fine too. Whatever's easiest for you. Like I said, one file at a time, but all at the same time and date stamp. So you load multiple ones and then upload them all at once. All right, now my explanation of problem 39. In changing to the new edition, they changed problem 39, but only slightly.
E. Well, I totally screwed that up. Oh well. God, that's such a dark color. Oh, jeez. No. We only need to do it for these problems here. Only up to this far is where we need to create these borders. This is such a dark color. Can I just get like a palette of light colors? B is here. B is here. D is here. E is here. F is here. C. Ooh. Back. Go back. My God. What color shall C be? Something like this. I don't know. Which I just did the blue. So we'll do kind of like a pink. Right there. This is wonderful. Ooh, that life is awesome. Alrighty, save. Okay, save. We're done with number 38. We are halfway done. We're only halfway done. Are you kidding me? Like, I've been working on this since like what, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock or something? I'm just only halfway done. We still have 3 more questions. And not to mention the fact that we have something due Monday too. Goodness. 39, 47, and 48. They're all on downloads right now. I'll probably submit them and then check to make sure they're all good. I'm not checking all of them. No, I could open all of them at once and check them. Or maybe I should I'll submit, check. I'm pretty sure I could delete a submission if I don't like what I submitted. Oh. 39. Please. How many parts? Okay, basically just goes to the next page and then we're good. So we got some stuff. Oh, that looks pretty similar to the last question. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, wait. Right. What are we doing first? Whoa, fun. Indicate the type of data. Wait, no. Contains SAT, SAT, and ACT. You know, why don't people just say SAT and ACT test? ACT test. ACT test. SAT test. SAT test. No, the test T stands for test. The SAT and the ACT. So it'd sound weird to say the ACT because that's a word. The SAT. Test scores by states. I took the ACT and I got like a 31 on the second attempt. Right? I think I got a 31. Like my first score was a 29 and my second attempt was a 31. So hold on. What? These do not look like ACT and SAT scores at all. Where's the... What? Are all the numbers adjusted to be comparable? There's no way. How do so few people in certain states take these tests? It's ridiculous. How is it that only 7% of students in Alabama take those tests? How? How? I'm going to create a histogram for the first histogram will be the percentage of students taking it. Insert histogram. Percent. God. Percent taking. Now we want to adjust because there's only 3 bars. We would like to adjust to 10. I would like to adjust to 10. Bin width. We would like to adjust it to 0.1. Ooh, really? It starts at 3? Oh, great. That's not what I wanted. The minimum is 3% and the maximum is 93%. Apparently. I wish it was started at 0 and up to 100. Wait, is there a way to fix that? That was funny. Probably can't fix it. Oh well. We'll see what the teacher does there. That's weird distribution. What are you supposed to call that distribution? That's just weird. Skewed. Maybe. Like the vast majority, or like a very large portion of them are in the 33% to 13% range.
They added some additional data and changed the question. So when I glanced through it, I thought it was the exact same question. It was not. I was not prepared for that. I didn't provide you with the right file. So as a result, I am dropping problem number 39 from the assignment. The whole point of problem 39.
Oh, what? Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Well, dang it. Is she not going to cover it because she dropped it from the freaking thing last year? No. Oh, no.
Let's see if I can show you when I get this here. This is the actual new data set. It's showing ACT and SAT scores for all of the states and the percent taking of each type of test. And the idea was to go through and compare different histograms and to state if it's symmetric or not. And you already did that in problem 38. So we're just going to drop that since it was my bad on providing the wrong file. So moving on to, why did I think I could show? Oh, okay. This is what I was trying to get at. So if you look at the solution file, this was it. I wanted you to make a whole bunch of histograms to get used to using that histogram tool. Some of these were reformatted from Excel's default. If it would only do like 3 or 4 bins. Remember, I stated you want between 5 and 15 bins. So this was just doing these was showing that you know sometimes need to add more bins than what Excel chooses to use. And it changes the shape of the distribution when you do that. But again, this wasn't the end all be all to not do this, considering that we just did those other ones. And then the other thing was we were going to take a look at the first use of the data analysis toolpath to get descriptive statistics. We will do plenty more of those. So that's not that big a deal either. So moving on. Problem 47. Recall that High-Text Company is a direct marketer of technical products and that the file catalog marketing contains the recent data on one product. So moving on, that big a deal. We will do plenty of analysis and then I'll be all to.
Oh, I'm sad. He is sad. Oh no. Oh, no. Okay. What is 100 divided by 15? Oh! Ooh. How about we just round it up to 0.07? Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I feel like the more the better. Stop. 15 is a bit much. Maybe I should just stick with 10. Because if we have like a giant amount, like this, then it's gonna look weird. But what if we 10? She did 6. She divided it into 6. Yeah, but wait, it goes from what? Do we get to skip number 39? Did she provide with the wrong one? No, wait. Did she provide the wrong one? Again? You would think she would have fixed it a year later. No. These are just SAT scores. She did provide us with the wrong one again. Do we get to skip it? Oh, man. I think she did provide us with the wrong one again. That was funny. She did provide us with the wrong one. This is only SAT. It doesn't say. Maybe I will skip it. Yes, I'm going to skip it. It's fine. Funny. Number 47. You know what's funny? I wonder if no, this is the only way.
Descriptive statistics. We will do plenty more of those, so that's not that big a deal either. So moving on, problem 47. Recall that High-Tech's company is a direct marketer of technical products, and that the file catalog marketing contains recent data on 1,000 High-Tech's customers.
Really, you didn't have to. Okay. Whoa, good job. Good job. We have this, and then we have one more question after this. Four parts. A. identify all customers who are 55 years of age or younger. Okay. 55 or younger. So we would like to select 1 and 2. We would like to select 1 and 2. We would like to select female. Female is 0. We would like to select single. Single is either married or not. So single is basically the same thing as not married. Huh. So 0. We have now selected those. They have had at least some dealings with High-Techs before this year. History. History. We would have history probably, right? No. Wait. Person 1, age, gender, own a home, married or not, close to, stores with similar merchandise, children, history, catalog, number of catalogs sent to the person this year, region, state. So history, I guess what we want is they have had at least some dealings, so we want to select all of them except for not applicable. So these 3, right? So we've now completely filtered out every single person we don't want. We've gotten every single one we want. Right? But there's way too many to list them out. That would take forever. I'm not going to list them. That'd be idiotic. There's like 100 of customers that satisfy those conditions. Right? Average number of catalogs sent. Okay, so average number of catalogs. And average amount. And equals average number of catalogs sent. We're going to do a work over here. Equals. Do we do subtotal again? That was funny.
Customers. Identify all customers in the data set who are 55 years or younger, female, single, and who have had at least some dealings with High-Techs this year. And then they want us to find the average number of catalogs sent to these customers and the average amount spent by these customers. Do any of these customers who satisfy the conditions in Part A have salaries that fall in the bottom 10% of all 1,000 combined salaries? If so, how many? And then Part C and D is another set of things that we're going to filter on. And then again, the same thing, sort of asking a second question. So we'll come back and look at those two in a moment. All right. So again, it's the catalog marketing file that's in Canvas that you should open up. If any of you do have the e-textbook like I'm in right now, you can just click those links to get the files. So I'm moving that direction with the class. It's just we didn't want to force people into ebooks if they're more comfortable with turning pages, so to speak. All right.
Well, that's hilarious because I had to use ebooks. I didn't really have a choice. I couldn't get physical textbooks. I mean, I could have, I guess, but it would cost more.
I thought I had it open, but apparently not. Okay. All right. I'm struggling to open it. Okay, so again, looking at the comments and the little red triangles in the corners. So age in this case is not handled as a numeric discrete variable. They have lumped ages together, so it is now a categorical variable, but it is ordinal, right? So 30 and younger is the youngest group, 31 to 55, and then 56 and older are the number threes, all right? Gender is 1 if male, 0 if female. So I actually dispute whether that should be named gender. It should actually be named male because male is the positive condition of 1 and 0 is the female. If you had chosen to call it female, then you would name females 1 and males 0. So it's just how we name variables. It has nothing to do with preferences or anything like that. All right. Same thing with home ownership. At least this one they named right. This is own your own home, yes, and is 1, and no, I rent is 0. Married 1, 0, not married. Close means I live close to stores with similar merchandise, and that's a 1. And if you're not close, then you're basically out in the middle of nowhere, which could be Platteville. Your salaries, again, that's going to be a numeric variable, continuous variable. Children, number of children, a discrete numeric variable. History with Intex or with this particular company, you can see that it is a categorical variable in terms of low spending, medium spending, and high spending. So 3 categories, but we've designated them with 1, 2, and 3. And then NA is no spending experience. So we actually have 4 categorical or categories for that categorical variable. None of them have, well, I guess you could say it's hierarchical because from the business standpoint, the high spending customer is better. But, again, it's not like a designation like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. All right. Number of catalogs sent to the person in a year, the region where the customer lives, the state, the city, the first purchase date, and the amount spent. All right. Pretty self-explanatory on those last ones. So the problem asks, as I read before, to filter down to a specific set of conditions. So we need to go over on the homepage to this sort and filter option and turn on the filter. And again, we see the little triangles appear in the name box for each variable. And the first one was that it is a person that is 55 or younger. And if I remember right, 56 and older was 3. So I'm going to leave 1 and 2 on and turn 3 off. For gender, the problem requested that we look at females only. So I'm going to turn the 1s off. As far as married, they said that the person, we're looking for the probability of a single person, not a married person. So uncheck the 1, leave the 0s. Close, they don't go for that one. Some dealings with high tech. So you see that home ownership was skipped, proximity was skipped, salary. So we're going down to having some history with the company, some dealings with high tech. Well, again, looking at these 1, 2, and 3, all have some dealings. NA is the only one without any dealings. Right. So we want some dealings with high tech. So we want 1, 2, or 3. Anybody but the NAs. All right. Now we want to find the average number of catalogs and the average number spent. Much like problem 38, when we start moving start doing calculations on filtered data, we have to be careful because there's hidden data, and you then remove the filters and your calculations disappear. In addition, they're asking maybe to do the same exact thing on a different filter, right? They're saying, now we're going to look at men of this and this and this. So I'm going to need all this data back in its full form. So unlike last time where we did a bit of jumbling to get stuff into a text box, I'm going to start off by taking this particular filtered data, so everything that you see here, and the easiest way to, no, I don't want to do it that way. I actually want to highlight each of the column headings, and then use Shift Control and down arrow to select all the visible data. Then I'm going to copy it. Again, however you do that is up to you. I just hit Control C. If you had wanted to go to the home menu and hit copy, or one of the other bazillion ways you can copy in Excel. I'm going to go on to adding a new sheet. I'm going to
Oh, this is an interesting way to do it.
Cell A1, and I'm going to paste all of this on as values. So yes. What's this? I think actually maybe a regular paste would have done it too. But we're losing our little comments on our first column or on our first cell, telling us what they mean. You can always go back to the other sheet to see that. But you'll see that it did leave off all of the males, all of the married people, and anybody with no experience with high tech. So now we're down. This is just the sample that we want to work with, but the entire group is still back here on our data sheet. Remember, it's just hidden. Now here on sheet 1, which I'm now going to rename to part, I guess this is part A. And I might be able to put part B on this too, we'll see. But the bottom line is that this is now just, there's no way for me to turn back off the filter and get all the data back unless I go back to my original tab. So on tab for part A, I now have only the data that qualifies to answer the question for part A. All right, and I just hurriedly started jumping to the bottom. One of the things that happens is if you scroll too far down, you lose sight of the top row that tells us our headings. I need to be able to see those. I like being able to see those. So I'm going to go to the view menu and choose freeze pane, and I'm going to freeze the top row, freeze the top. So now when I scroll down, I can see the headings there. And the reason for that is in the blank column below all of this, I'm going to answer the question that was asked. So part B was, so this is parts A and B. Let me just do that quick. Oh no, this is still, maybe we can fit B on here too. All right, sorry, distractions. So now what it wanted was the average number of catalogs and the average number sent. So catalogs is here in column J, and average amount spent is in column O. Right, so I'm going to say the average equals, and again, average is another name for mean. So if I'd wanted to use that, I could do that too. I actually could put this one row over, and for the number of catalogs, column J, I'm typing in the formula equal average, and then I'm going to highlight all of the values for the catalogs. So this should actually be J2 to J148. All right, so equal average J2 to J148.
Well, great. Ooh. Well, we'll see if I get the same answer. What's the question asking again? Number of catalogs. That was funny. Oh. Back. Okay. Oh. Stop. Oh, you can stop. Copy and paste the value. The value. Stop. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. And the average amount spent equals the average amount spent is copy and paste formatting. Paste the value and save. Oh no, we actually want this to be in dollars. Good job, everybody. Oh. Huh? Hello? Hello, everybody. You can now stop. You. Hello? No, not accounting number format. We would like currency format. I guess we're just going to have to do this every time. We can't just do it in accounting number format. We'll just do currency. There, save. We have 12.78 and we have 501.03. Okay.
Once you have that selected, hit enter. 12.7 have a bunch of extra digits. I just hate that they do that, so get rid of some of those. A little more reasonable. 12.8 catalogs, so approximately 13 catalogs. The same thing here, equal average. Again, I could just copy that formula across, but might as well get used to typing it. These 2 whole times that we're doing it. And again, you cannot include that column heading in cell. And again, typing that formula across, but might as well get used to typing it. These 2 whole times that we're doing it. And again, you cannot include that column heading in cell 1. So it's column O, cell 2 to O148. And hitting enter, I now have the average for that. And it looks like it's $501.03. Okay. So again, if you took on average and just randomly sampled out of all the database, 55 or younger female who's single and has had some dealings with HITECH, the average number of catalogs would be about 13, and the average dollar amount spent would be about 501. Now, part C.
Wait, that's part A and B. No. She skipped part B. Do any of the customers who satisfy those conditions have salaries that fall in the bottom 10% of all 1,000 combined salaries? Oh no, please don't skip that part, please. That's going to be so hard. That's fine. Please don't skip part B. Please.
And D
is a student.
We're now switched to looking at all of the customers in the sample who are 30 years of age, males, homeowners, married, and who had little to, I'm sorry, we gotta do Part B first. Do any of these customers satisfy the conditions in Part A? A, have salaries that fall in the bottom 10% of all 1,000 combined salaries.
Okay, let's try to figure. Can I do this by myself? That's fine. We have completely answered A. A is done. We will start with this very bland color. Ooh. Save. B. What is it? Question. What is the question? Do any of the customers have salaries that fall in the bottom 10%? What are they? Well, what are all the salaries that are in the bottom 10%? What are they exactly? Well, I hate myself. Those salaries that fall in the bottom 10% are the 10th percentile. Oh. Well, 10th percentile. 10th percentile is equal to, oh jeez, this is the most annoying thing ever. I want to save these particular filters. I don't want to undo all the filters and then redo them. Are you kidding me? Oh. All right, well, I'm going to watch this because I don't want to do something wrong. Or I don't want to do something inefficiently.
If so, how many? So going back, also, by the way, if you have catalog marketing in your title, go ahead and save the file as PO247. PO247. Save it as PO247.
Nice. Okay. Okay. That was fun. Well, this is where it would have been helpful to have copied and pasted into a separate tab. This would have been helpful. This. God dang it. Fine. All right, fine. Oh, here we go. Do. Paste. Values. And formatting. Thank you. Actually, if we paste values, this is unfortunate. Dude, what the heck? We're gonna paste. What's the difference between this and this? Number formatting is the same as source formatting is the same. I don't know what the difference is between those. Great. We'll just fix these. Okay, we're good there. Save. Now that we have all the filters on this one, we can now clear the filters on this page without losing it. Stop. Dude. Clear. Hey. What just happened? Wait, clearing the filter should. Okay. So basically we just need to find something. What are we doing? We need to find the bottom 10% of these salaries. Combined. Salary. No, combined. What are you talking about combined? We need to find the bottom 10% of this. So 10th percentile equals percentile.inc of these. Oh, wait, hold on. Percentile data 0.1, and there we go. We have. This is going to be. I wish there was a shortcut for this. Dang it. Like, seriously. I would like there to be a shortcut for formatting these as currency. Dang it. Save. Includes. Is 16,300 included? Is 16,300 included?
So part B is asking us, the top here. I'm going to clear my filter and I'm going to turn the filters off. So part B is asking us, of all of the salaries, what's the value that is at the bottom 10%? 90% of the individuals that have salaries higher than this. What is that value? And given that value, do any of the people that we've moved to tab B, part of that sample there, do any of them have salaries that are above that level? So the first thing is
below that level.
is to find the bottom 10% salary.
Wait, what did I say? 10th percentile.
And that will actually just be equal to, it's the 10th percentile, an INC, of all of the salaries. So again, don't include the word salary. And again, I'm back on the original data sheet and I've turned off the filter. So I've got my original full sample of 1,000 salaries. Okay. And then the percentile is 0.10, 10%. So that is $16,300. Right? Now I'm just going to go ahead and do part D, just so we do this. So part D is going to ask us for the top 10% salary for the number that are above that level in our male sample. 20 of the 100. So the 90th percentile is $99,210. All right. So taking this bottom 10% of salary that we're interested in here, back to our filtered sheet, column, or second sheet here. This at the top. Let's go back up to the top. Know that the bottom 10% salary, sorry, paste as values. So our bottom 10% was at 16,300. So now what we need to do is count how many, count the number of salaries that are below that amount there, okay?
The number that are below that amount. Okay, that's the key. 10th percentile. How do we find that? What we do is a thing. We sort by something. Sort from largest, smallest to largest. Uh-oh. Did it do it correctly? Let's do a custom sort. Salary, smallest to largest. It's already done. What was the salary? 16,300. So select all of them, all the way down to that. Below 16,300. So we have now selected them. We would like to count the number. So, dang it, we have to now do this. Equals count this thing. 36. We have now found there are 36. So we should get 36 for the answer. Good for me.
$16,300. So using equal countif, oops, that sounds good. Sounds like, what are you trying to do? Countif counts the number of cells within a range that meet a certain condition. Okay, so click on countif.
Yippee skippy, there's a more efficient way to do it. Count if. What?
And my range is all of the salaries on this sheet. Again, we've moved over to the filtered sheet for parts A and B only.
Select all of the salaries. So this whole sorting thing's... That's how we did it in the first attempt, though. On the first question, that's how we did it. Escape. Doesn't need to be sorted. Undo the sorting. God dang it. Sort by person. Count if blah blah blah. What?
It's the subset of females and et cetera, et cetera. And then the criteria is that it's greater than the
Comma, greater than.
mark, greater than 16.
Quote. Comma, quote, greater than.
Landed on the cell as well. Instead of typing in the 16,300. And then.
Well, that's an interesting thing. Good job. What was my typo? What was my typo? Comma, quote. Comma, quote, greater than. End quote. End parenthesis. Did I mess up? Oh, come on. How did that get a different answer? How? This is count if it's greater. Hello. She probably messed it up. It should be less than. It should be less than that amount. So I'm going to change this from a greater than to a less than. So 36. I'm pretty sure the professor is wrong. It should be 36 because it's supposed to be below 16.
And close the bookmarks, close my parentheses, and hit enter. And there are actually, out of that filtered sample of however many there are in there, there happen to be 111. That's not right. Below the 10th percentile. That's not right.
She accidentally said above instead of below.
I want greater. There we go. Less than. We want them below that. You know, sometimes I just do these mistakes so you can see how easy it is to make. Oh, what a bad liar I am. Okay, so 36, that makes far more sense. 36 out of all these, well, would be 147 are below that salary amount. So back to our original data sheet, turning our filter back on. Oh, sorry. Oh, it so hates me right now. In order to get the filter to work in the area you want it to work in, your cursor, or you have to be on a cell somewhere in that data. It was trying to pull from over here where I had my cursor. So try that again. Let me turn my filter on. Okay, so now I am looking for greater than 30 years old. So going to...
Okay, she's starting on the next part. Okay, looks like we're done with B. You got the correct answer. B is done. Hate myself. Stop. That was so stuffy. C. C. Let's see. It's time for another filtering thingy-majiggy. Okay. Data. But before we do that, bye.